Hey YouTube, Andrew here, and I'm about to bring you all my Red Dragon Archfiend deck profile. As you all have seen, I have made an unboxing video for the Red Dragon Archfiend structure deck. I built a deck based around the structure deck, and I gotta say the deck build I come up with did not do very good. So I ended up making plenty of readjustments to the deck, and it's doing a lot better now. Not that I didn't expect it, but yeah, this new build that I have is a lot better than the one more based around the structure deck. And I've also tested this build out a few times on Dueling Book, and I gotta say, this is actually a really impressive deck build. Now, on to the profile. Starting up, we have 3 Soul Resonator. When this guy's normal or special summon, you can add any Resonator monster from your deck to your hand. And his other effect says, if a Dark Dragon Synchro monster you control is about to get destroyed, you can banish this guy from your graveyard and prevent that monster's destruction. Oh, and I stuttered. It's not any Dark Dragon Synchro, it's any Red Dragon Archfiend monster. But it's undoubtedly an amazing card. 3 Vision Resonator. Its first effect can be used as many times as it's in your hand, as visions in your hand. The second one can only be used once per turn. The first one says, if this guy's in your hand, you can special summon this. If you control a level 5 or higher Dark Synchro Dragon, you can special summon this guy from your hand. And his other effect is, when this card's sent to your graveyard, you can add any spell or trap that lists Red Dragon Archfiend in its text from your deck to your hand. And its second effect can only be used once per turn. Next up, 3 copies of Bone Archfiend. I gotta say, for a common, this card is amazing. It has such good graveyard manipulation effects. So when it's either in your hand or your graveyard, you can discard a card from your hand to special summon it. And its other effect is once per turn, you can discard a card from your hand, then choose any monster on your field and increase or decrease its level by 1. So yeah, great synchro setup guy. Next up, 3 Flare Resonator. So you can special summon this guy from your hand if you have no monsters. And his other effect says, once per turn, if this card and a Dark Dragon Synchro monster are the only 2 monsters you have, you could special summon 2 Resonator Tuner monsters from your deck. This is an amazing card, honestly. And now for a personal tech choice I run in this deck, 2 copies of Red Resonator. So when you normal summon this guy, you can choose a level 4 or lower monster from your hand and special summon it. And its other effect is when this guy's special summoned, you can target 1 other monster on your field, and your life points increase equal to that monster's attack points. And both effects can only be used once per turn. Next up, and finally for the Resonator monster lineup, 2 Synchron Resonator. When this guy is sent to your graveyard, you can add any Resonator monster from your grave to your hand. And if you have a Dark Synchro monster on your field, you can special summon this guy. So this guy's quite literally a free extender. Now for hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Ghost Ogre, And finally, 3 Valor. Eventually, I plan on getting Impermanence and Sighting Valor. Because Impermanence, in my opinion, is the better card. And Valor is still a good backup to have. But for now, I'm just using her as a placeholder in the main deck until I get copies of the card. Now for spells, 3 Resonator Call, 3 copies of Crimson Gaia. So Crimson Gaia says during your main phase, you can add any card that specifies Red Dragon Archfiend in its text from your deck to your hand. And its other effect is when this card's destroyed, you can choose a Dark Synchro. You can choose a Red Dragon Archfiend monster in your graveyard and summon it to your field. And both effects can only be used once per turn. Next up, Absolute. 1 copy of Absolute Power Force. When you activate it, you target Red Dragon Archfiend on your field, and sorry, I'm not used to having using this card yet. So you target Red Dragon Archfiend, and it gets one of these 3 effects. Actually, I think you get all of them, but it says Red Dragon Archfiend gains 1,000 attack. It gets to deal piercing damage, and any battle damage it deals gets doubled. So this card's actually pretty damn broken. I love this card. Next up, 1 Called by the Grave. 1 Monster Reborn. 1 Foolish Burial. And finally, 1 Change of Heart. I would run Triple Tactics, but that card is expensive right now. Now for traps. 2 copies of Solemn Packages. Strike and Judgment. And finally, the last card in the main deck, 1 copy of Red Zone. So when any card is activated, while I control a Red Dragon Archfiend monster, I can target any card on the field and destroy it. Free blow up. I love that. And now for my side deck. 2 copies of Nibiru. 1 copy of Droll and Lockburn. 1 copy of DD Crow. 1 copy of Raigeki. Eventually I want to bump it up to 3. Until I get the extra Raigekis, I'm running 2 Forbidden Chalice. Honestly, this card's just a cheap placeholder. I like that it's a free negate, but I don't like that it gives your opponent's monster additional attack points. But since a 400 point boost usually isn't a big deal, I will be running this card till I get my impermanences. 2 Twin Twisters. Pretty decent back row destroyer card for this deck. 3 Dimensional Barrier. 1 Starlight Rogue. There for stuff like Raigeki and Feather Duster and cards. Yeah. There for cards that destroy multiple cards. 1 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. And finally, a tech choice, a card for the side deck I think might be a tech choice I've come up with. One Torrential Tribute. Just in case it comes to a point to where it'll be really helpful. And there's Red Dragon Arch, and I run monsters in this deck that can revive other red dragons if they were to end up getting destroyed. And now for the extra deck. First up, you have 3 copies of Red Rising Dragon. So when this guy's synchro summoned, you can target any Resonator synchro in your graveyard and special summon it. And its other effect is when this guy's in your graveyard, you can banish it, then target 2 level 2 synchro monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. In my opinion, this guy's the best card in the deck. Because you get to summon a Resonator monster from your grave for free without negating its effect. And if he's in your graveyard with 2 other tuners, you can banish it and get those tuners back. And next up, 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. He's mainly there for you to special summon before you summon your regular Red Dragon Archfiends from Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend. Next up, 2 Scarred. So Scarred says once per turn you can tribute this guy, special summon Red Dragon Archfiend specifically from your extra deck, and then destroy all attack position monsters on your opponent's field. It's kind of a situational card, but it's good. 2 Red Dragon Archfiend. He's there strictly because of Scarred. Next up, 3 copies of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So once during either player's turn, you can target a card on the field and completely negate its effects. And its other effect says when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target any tutor monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Next up, 2 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. 1 regular Red Nova Dragon as a personal tech choice I have. And finally, the boss monster of the deck, Red Supernova Dragon. Red Nova, harder to summon, but has an infinitely better effect. And that is it for my Red Dragon Archfiend deck profile. I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to getting the chance to take this deck out to locals at some time. So please like and subscribe for more content from this channel. And have a good night, everyone. See you later.